Good morning, students. Hope you all are well and studying regularly. As I told, we have finished with the Science 1 portion. As our last chapter, we have finished that carbon compounds. Chapter 10 is there also there in your portion, which you have to do as a self study. So go through the whole chapter properly, and if you have any doubts, mark and keep, which we will clear it in our live lectures. So from this video we are going to again start our section 2 science 2 part. As you know, before your first term we have finished the first 5 chapters of science 2. So today we are going to see about sixth chapter, that is animal classification. Students, you are studying from 7 8 standard that our world is full of diversity. In 8th standard, you have studied the definition of biodiversity. What is biodiversity? So it's nothing but the variety that exists on Earth in living beings. That is what we call it as a biodiversity. Bio means living and diversity means variety. So you know that with on our in our world there are many varieties of living beings are found, and therefore studying the characteristics of different living beings, it's little complicated and a time consuming task. And therefore in 8th standard we have seen the classification of living beings. The living beings are classified in 5 kingdoms but by scientists whose name is Whittaker. Scientist Whittaker had classified all the living organisms in 5 kingdoms as Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Fungi, Kingdom Plantae, and Kingdom Animalia. And further classification of Kingdom Plantae we have studied, discussed in a 9th standard. In 10th standard, we are going to see the further classification of a kingdom Animalia. Kingdom Animalia is further classified in the subkingdoms, then phylums, then class. That all detail and their characteristics we are going to see in our chapter number 6 called Animal Classification. So the traditional method of animal classification is used for classifying the animal kingdom further into sub kingdoms, and further there is a particular method is followed. In that method we are going to see the presence and absence of a notochord. You can see the presence or absence of notochord. Based on this, the animal kingdom has divided into two groups as a non-chordates and chordates. Okay, so animal kingdom is further classified based on the presence or absence of a notochord. If it is having the notochord, means if there is a presence of notochord, then it is called as a chordates. If there is absence of notochord, then it is called as a non-chordates. Let's see what is notochord. So notochord is a long rod-like supporting structure present on dorsal side of the animal body. It keeps the nerve tissues isolated from remaining body. Okay, so what is a notochord? So notochord is a rod-like. It is going to be like a rod. Okay, it is rod-like supporting structure. It is rod-like structure present on dorsal side. Now, what I mean by dorsal side? Dorsal side means the back side of the animal. The backside of the animal body is called as a dorsal side. So where the notochord is present, it is a long rod-like structure is present behind the body, behind part of your body. And what it is doing, it keeps the nerve tissue isolated from the remaining body. Whatever our nerve tissues you have studied again in 9th standard, nervous tissue, nervous system. In nervous system, we are having the spinal cord and the brain and the nerve tissues, right? The nerve tissues which are uh, removed or generated from the your spinal cord and spreading all over body, so that nervous tissues are going to be isolated from the remaining body with the help of this notochord. So notochord is somehow you are going to have a presence of spinal cord only. Next to the spinal cord you will be having the notochord. Okay, so it is just remember that it is a long rod like supporting structure present on the dorsal side of the body. That is what we call it as a notochord. Hmm. So now non-chordates, characters of non-chordates animals are follows. Now as we have classified the kingdom Animalia in a two subkingdoms as a non-chordates and the chordates as we have seen here. Now we are going to study some characteristics of that. So first we'll discuss the characteristics of non-chordates. So first, body is not supported by a rod-like notochord. So as we studied, as we classified only if there is a presence or absence of notochord. No? So and we are considered if there is absence of notochord, then we say it is a non-chordate. And so that's the same point we are getting that body is not supported by a rod-like notochord means there is notochord is absent. Second, we are having pharyngeal gill slits are absent. You can see the gill slits which are used for the breathing in a lower order organism like a fishes. So they are having the slits for the respiratory. So here in the non-chordates there is a pharyngeal gill slits are absent. Nerve cord, if present, it is on ventral side, it is solid and fair. And if there is a nerve cord is present, nerve cord means it is going to conduct the nerves it will be conducting, correct? Hmm? So if nerve cord is present, it is on a ventral side. Ventral side means a front side. It is not on a back side, and it is solid and the paired one. The nerve cord will be solid one means it is not a hollow. It will be filled totally with the some of the matrix present in that, and it is going to be in the form of a paired. It is not a single. Means there will be two nerve cords will be present if present. If no nerve cord, no issue. If nerve cord is present, it will be present on the ventral side and it will be in the solid and the paired form. Okay. Next we are having the heart. If present, it is on the dorsal side. Again, in a non-chordate animals, if the heart is present, it will be present on the dorsal side. Means again a back portion of the body. Next, we are going to have a subkingdom chordates, and the characters of chordate are body is supported by notochord. The first point as we have discussed, there is a presence. These animals having the presence of notochord and therefore they are called considered as a chordate. So same point is repeated. Chordate means they have the first point, that is they will their body is going to be supported with notochord. Means there is a presence of notochord. So definition only gives the first character. Second, pharyngeal gill slits or lungs are present for the respiration. So as I told you, in case of non-chordate, there is no pharyngeal gill slits for the respiration. But in case of chordates, you can have either pharyngeal gill slits or you can have a lungs, either of one. As we said in a fish, you can have a slits. But that only if you are going to consider of human beings, they will have a lungs for the respiration. Nerve cord is present on a dorsal side of the body. There is a nerve cord is going to be present, and that nerve cord will be present on the dorsal side of the body. Means again a back side of the body, and it is hollow. Remember that. See, as we have studied in non-chordates, we have seen nerve cord may present. If it is present, then it is a solid. Correct. And in chordates the nerve cord is present means here in non-chordates there is no surety that no nerve cord will be present only. It is not present, then no issue. If it is present, that will be solid. But in chordate the nerve cord is present. It is said present means it is going to be there, it has to be there, which is on the dorsal side of the body means back side of the body, and it is hollow means there is a empty space between our nerve cords. Okay, so that is what distinguish you can remember about the chordates and the non-chordates. And heart is present on the ventral side of a body. Okay, so why it is given like this, it can be asked for distinguish also. How you can give the distinguish, you can see here. Non-chordates, chordates. What is non-chordate? Body is not having the notochord, absence of notochords. Chordates, presence of notochord. In non-chordates, pharyngeal slits or the lungs are not present for respiration. In the chordates, pharyngeal slits are present or lungs are present for the respiration. Then in a non-chordates, we are having nerve cord is absent. If present, it will be present on ventral side and the solid. In case of chordates, nerve cord is present. It is present on the dorsal side of the body and it is hollow. Then non-chordates, heart is present. It is on the dorsal side, and in chordates, heart is present on the ventral side. So nerve cord and the heart is our opposite place. In a non-chordate, what is the place of a nerve cord? That is a place of a heart in chordates. And in non-chordate, what is the place of heart? That is a place of a nerve cord in the chordates. So remember, these characteristics can be asked, as I told you, in the distinguish, or it can be asked, right? State the characters of non-chordates or state the characters of chordates. For 2 marks, the questions can be asked. So this is what the main classification of the kingdom Animalia based on the notochord. The first kingdom Animalia is classified in two sub-kingdoms, that is the non-chordates and chordates, and then further it is classified in a different phylums. We'll see in a next slide. So see, first we are getting the kingdom Animalia, which is classified in the subkingdom non-chordates and chordates based on the presence or absence of a notochord. Then kingdom subkingdom non-chordates is further classified into phylums, and subkingdom non-chordates has a 10 phylums. So first you can see Protozoa, then Porifera, Cindria, Platyhelminthes, Astellaminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Chinodermata, Hemichordata. So these are the 10 phylums for the subkingdom non-chordates. Means now these 10 phylums, whatever animals will be belonging, there will be absence of a notochord. Getting? Then we are talking about a subkingdom chordate. Subkingdom chordate is further classified into phylum Chordata. See, thus there is a similarity in the name of the subkingdom and the phylum, but try to remember the difference properly. It is chordates and the phylum is chordata. This phylum chordata is classified in the three subphylums, that is Urochordata, Cephalochordata, and Vertebrata. Okay, so kingdom Animalia classified into subkingdom chordates, which is further classified into phylum Chordata. That phylum Chordata is having the three subphylums as a Urochordata, Cephalochordata, and Vertebrata. Then these three subphylum, in the three subphylum, the third subphylum, that is Vertebrata, is further classified into class, and there are six classes you are getting. Okay, subphylum Vertebrata is classified into six classes, namely Cyclostomata, Pisces, Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves, and Mammalia. So this is what a total classification of kingdom Animalia is further done. As we have seen, the scientist Whittaker has classified in five kingdom. In that, the one kingdom is kingdom Animalia. That kingdom Animalia is further classified non-chordates and chordates. Subkingdom non-chordates classified into phylum 10 phylums, and the subkingdom chordates is further classified into phylum Chordata, which is further classified into subphylum three subphylums, that is Urochordata, Cephalochordata, and Vertebrata. Vertebrata is again further classified into six classes. Now in this chapter you have to study all the 10 phylums of the subkingdom non-chordates and the six classes and the three subphylum of the subkingdom chordates, their characteristics with a example, which is very important from exam point of view. You have to study these all characters and learn that all characters properly. Based on that you may get a question. Now further we'll discuss about how this classification, how the kingdom animal is classified, based on which criteria this classification is given, what points are considered while classifying, that we are going to see in the next. So this is how the kingdom animal is going to be classified based on the different consideration. When they have classified the kingdom animalia further, the main criteria is considered, that is the level of organization, symmetry of body, and body cavity. Based on these 3 points, your kingdom animalia is further classified into chordates and the non-chordates, then the different phylums. So now when we talk about the level of organization, now what is the level of organization? So we know that we are studied in 7th standard that different organism is going to have a different organ level, different level of organization. That is we studied from 7th standard that every living being is made from a small single cell. Every living being start their life as a single cell. So there are many organisms which are unicellular, means they are made up of only one cell. Then we have studied that when many cells come together and work towards a particular function, they form a tissue. So there are certain organisms we are those who are going to have only presence of tissue. So that is what we say as a tissue level organization. Now when many tissues come together and work together, then they form a organ. Then that is what we have talked as a organ system organization. Then when many organ comes together form a organ system, and that organ system is called as a level of organization, as a organ system level, organ system organization, or you can say a system level organization, correct. And then after that you are getting the when organ systems work together, you are getting a whole organism. So in a level of organization we have a cellular level organization, tissue level organization, and organ level organization, or organ system, or just you can say as a system level organization. So whenever the kingdom animalia is classified, first two things are considered, that is level of organization, that is cellular level, means that organism will have only the presence of a cell, that is that organism may be made up of only one cell, correct. That is what we say as a cellular level. And if many cells come together, many tissues come together, so many cells come together, it forms a tissue level organization. When many tissues come together, they form a organ level organization. And when many organ comes together, they form a organ system organization. So when the kingdoms are classified, they are classified by this way. So if it's cellular level, then you are getting the phylum Porifera. Then tissue, organ and organ system level, in that it is further classified. Okay. So first point they have considered, that is a what is the level of organization in the organism. Then they have talk about a symmetry. Now if you are going to see the different organism, there is a symmetry pattern you having, that is a for three symmetry actually. Three symmetry means two are the symmetric pattern and other is a not symmetry only. There is no any similarities found. That is example as a amoeba, which does not have a particular shape. Means that the second level of the classification of kingdom animalia is considered, that is a what is the symmetry is found in that, whether they have a regular shape or whether they have a irregular shape. So if the shape of organism is irregular, means there is no fixed shape, then we consider as a asymmetric, which is not written in this slide. So if there is no organism without a shape, that is what called as a asymmetric. And now in the this slide, if you can see, there are only how many phylums are shown. So phylum shows are only up to the chordata, correct. Means first 10 phylums and then one phylum, that is a chordata. Means total 11 phylums are there, which we have discussed in the earlier slide. But in that you can see in non-chordates there are total 10, but out of that only this porifera onwards up to hemichordata, these all are belong to your subkingdom non-chordates. So in these there are 10 phylums, correct. But you can count here, it is only 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Sorry, I'm 1 minute, I'm missing out something. Okay, so you can see there you have counted the 10, but you can see this one is only one. These both are together only. That is colentrata. It's a one of the same. In that there are two parts we are getting. Correct. So if you have seen the earlier slide, where you will see properly, there are 10 phylums, but here we are getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Means in non-chordates we are having 10 phylums, but now when you talk about here we are getting only 9. Why? Because the one phylum, the first phylum which we have said, the protozoa, that is asymmetric, that is not mentioned in the chart, and therefore that symmetry is not shown here, because that will not come under the symmetry, that is not having any shape only. Means what exactly definition? If an organism has a particular shape, then it comes under symmetry. Means how the shape is, whether the shape is a bilateral or whether the shape is a radial. And if that it does not have any shape, then it doesn't come in the concept of symmetry, it is a asymmetric, therefore that is not mentioned here. So you have to just remember second point of classification of kingdom animal is consider criteria, that is a symmetry. If organism don't have any particular shape, then it is considered as asymmetric, which consists of phylum protozoa. Then if you are going to have a symmetry, then the symmetry will be either radial or a bilateral symmetry. Now what is radial symmetry or bilateral? So first talk about a bilateral. Now what is bilateral? Bi means two and lateral means a side. So if you can divide the organism in two equal parts, if you can divide the organism into two equal part, then it is called as a bilateral. As you can consider the example of a human beings or a draw or a frog or dog, you can see you can cut them in a middle axis, so you can get two equal halves, that is what we say as a bilateral. Then comes a radial. Radial means you can see radial is a what term related to our radius, circular. So there will be particular organism which is going to have a somehow spherical or circular shape. So you can divide them on a radial basis, radius base, that is what called as a radial. As example, you can take as our pizza. So whatever pieces of pizzas are made, how they are made based on their radius. So that is what your radial symmetry. We are going to see further the example, that is a starfish. So starfish is, you can divide that starfish into radial symmetry. So that is what comes as your radial symmetry. Then next we are having, that is a body cavity or the coelom. The third criteria is considered while classifying kingdom animalia is a body cavity, whether there is a presence of body cavity or absence of body cavity. And based on that, you are having the three types of the body cavity, that is acylomate. This is what we say as a acylomate. Then you can say as a pseudocollomates, and you can have a eucocollomates. Here it is CO, but actually it is E and U also is there. Eucocollomates. Okay, eucocollomates. Now what is exactly this eucocollamate and everything? So when we talk about the body cavity, so in our body we are having the three layers. What is the body cavity? So there is a empty space cavity, there is a empty space between the body of the organism and the internal organs of the organism. We know that in our body we have an internal organ. So that internal organs and the outer body, between these two part, there is a empty cavity is present, which is called as a body cavity. And that body cavity is made up of three layers. You are going to have three layers in that. That is a endodrome, mesodrome, and the ectodrome. Okay, I have not put this everything is here because this portion is reduced from your syllabus for this year due to COVID-19, and therefore it is not explained. But for your short remembrance, I am explaining here that body cavity is nothing but the empty space or the cavity present between your internal organ and the outer body. That is what we say as a body cavity. That body cavity is going to have a three types, that is a aciculomate, pseudocollomates, and the eucocollomates. Now why you are getting these three layer types? So that I told you, your body cavity is going to be consist of three layers. That is what your endodrome, mesodrome, and the ectodrome. You will be having like this. You can see that in pictures in your book. Suppose like these three circles you are going to consider. If any body organ is cut, it would be look like this bread roll. So the outer layer is called as a ecto. This layer is called as a ecto. It is ecto means exit outside. Then the middle one is called as a meso. It is called as a meso. Hmm? Meso means a middle layer, and the middle one is called as a endo. It is called as endo. Endo means inside. Okay, so the inner layer, the innermost layer is called as a endos endodrum. Then middle layer is called as a mesodrum, and the outer is called as a ectodrum. Okay, now how the body cavity is formed, based on that you are going to have these three types. Now the body cavity is going to form from this middle layer. If the body cavity will be formed due to this middle layer, means outer layer and inner layer is very important, correct? So only layer is the middle layer. If this middle layer is disappear and the cavity is formed, then it is called as a eucocolamids. Then it is called as a eucocolamids. Okay, means if this layer mesoderm is removed, then there is a cavities formed. You can imagine, I think, you can imagine the endoderm, mesoderm and the ectoderm, three layers. In that, if you can remove the middle layer, what happens, the first and the third, between them there is a empty space is created, that is what your body cavity. So if it is formed like this due to the mesoderm, then it is called as a eucocolamids, means a column, true cavity. And if the cavity is formed due to the other than mesoderm, then it is called as a pseudocolamids, means there is no really cavity is present, but it appears like a cavity is present. Okay, means the cavity is formed, but it is not formed due to the mesoderm. It is not formed by the disappearance of mesoderm. It is just formed due to some other reason. Then that body cavity, that column is called as a pseudocolamids. And if there is no cavity is present, no empty space is present between the internal organ and the body, then it is called as a acylomates. I hope you people are cleared without body cavity. Okay, should I repeat? Okay, just listen properly and read the textbook so you will get an idea. And other, if you have any doubt, we'll discuss that in our live lecture. So once again, repeating. In a body cavity, we have three layers. That is a endoderm, mesoderm, and the ectoderm. Before that, what is a body cavity? So that is a cavity present between the internal organ and the outer body. That is what we call it as a body cavity. That body cavity is, if body cavity is formed due to the mesoderm middle layer, then it is called as a eucocolamids. If it is not formed by the mesoderm, if it is formed due to some other reason, then it is called pseudocolamids. And if there is no body cavity, if there is no space between the internal organ and the outer body, then it is called as a acylomates. I hope you are clear. And by considering these three parts, level of organization, symmetry, and body cavity presence or absence, or how that body cavity is formed, based on that we have these 11 phylums. I hope you have cleared. Just go through the video and listen properly. Along with this, read the textbook also, so you will be getting proper idea. The remaining part we'll see in another video. Thank you. God bless you.